and welcome to Shedding Starlight, a guide to the Kingdom Hearts mythos. Last week, we defined the differences between pureblood Heartless and their artificial cousins, Emblem Heartless.
Today, we will be discussing something adjacent to that, losing your heart. Or rather, specific cases of people losing their hearts in the first Kingdom Hearts game.
So last time we discussed how someone losing their heart to darkness will produce a pureblood Heartless. We might have made it seem like this was an absolute law of the universe, but in actuality, there are already 3 major exceptions to this rule: Sora, Kairi, and Ansem.
Sora turned into a pureblood Heartless because he unlocked and removed his heart with the Keyblade that Ansem used while possessing Riku. He did describe the feeling of falling into darkness afterwards, but to say that Sora became a Heartless because he was overcome with darkness isn't accurate. We can interpret Sora's situation as he removed his heart, therefore was lost to darkness, rather than he was overcome with darkness, therefore lost his heart. Darkness doesn't have to be the cause, but it is the effect.
When Kairi's light restores Sora, he's completely recovered immediately, which tells us that when someone becomes a pureblood Heartless, their heart doesn't immediately cease to exist forever. However, Sora did describe himself slowly forgetting things as he fell deeper into darkness. So losing one's heart may not be instant, but rather a gradual process that Sora was still in the early stages of, even as he was walking around as a little Shadow Heartless. This might be why Sora's Heartless didn't attack Kairi, Donald, and Goofy, but instead was determined to follow them and stay by their side.
So because of what happened to Sora, we hypothesized that if a heart is removed from a person, even without darkness as the cause, then a Heartless is born from the process. But this never happened for Kairi. In the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, when Destiny Islands is falling to darkness, Kairi is standing in front of the world's door. Then, the door opens, exploding with darkness, and Kairi's heart takes refuge within Sora for most of the rest of the game. So you'd think that if Sora's heart leaving his body created a pureblood Heartless, that Kairi's heart leaving her body would do the same. But we never see that happen. This is probably because she's one of the princesses of heart, who Maleficent says have the purest hearts. But if we're to take just the first Kingdom Hearts game and analyze the themes of it alone, Kairi's ability to restore Sora's humanity and maintain her own might not just come from being a princess of heart, but possibly also because of what her grandmother told her in a flashback. Believe in the light and the darkness will never defeat you. Your heart will shine with its power and push the darkness away.
Another character that's interesting to look at is Ansem. In his 10th report, Ansem wrote he would cast his body off and plunge into the depths of darkness. So he separated his heart from his body and immersed himself in the darkness, the 2 quintessential methods for creating a pureblood Heartless. But for some unexplained reason, that is not what happened to Ansem. His 12th report is a surprising read. It says, "The heart should have returned to the Heartless, and yet nothing. This one is unlike any other. Its memories remain, and it has yet to take the form of a Heartless."
This report is strange in that, at least in English, it's devoid of first-person pronouns. Usually Ansem writes about himself. Yet this 12th report isn't written like that. That said, this report is still about Ansem. For some reason, he did not become a Heartless like he should have. During his appearances in the brown robe, he really is just a floating heart. He wears the robe like a ghost wearing a bedsheet. You could even think that his 12th report is written so vaguely to prevent us from imagining Ansem somehow holding a pen while he's just a heart, which is obviously a weird picture.
So why didn't Ansem immediately turn into a Heartless? It might have something to do with embracing darkness in exchange for power over it. Ansem told Riku right before he possessed him,
plunge deeper into the darkness, and your heart will grow even stronger. Open yourself to the darkness. That is all. Let your heart, your being, become darkness itself.
And later, when Ansem, now possessing Riku, unlocks Maleficent's heart to unleash her dragon form, he says,
"Now, open your heart. Surrender it to the darkness. Become darkness itself."
So a heart lost to, or overcome with, darkness creates a Heartless. But by Ansem's logic, willingly embracing the darkness gives you power over it, as well as the Heartless. This is why Ansem is able to control the Heartless during his boss fights, be it the one he calls Guardian that first appears behind him, or the colossal Heartless we fight as the final boss.
The last person we want to discuss real quick is Riku, who did not lose his heart, even though some may interpret or theorize that he did. When possessed by Ansem, Sora demands,
"Let Riku go! Give him back his heart!"
And after that, in Traverse Town, Kairi says,
"You think it'll ever be the same again between us? Riku's lost his..."
trailing off before possibly finishing with heart. And in Hollow Bastion, Riku gets this new badass outfit of a negative silhouette of what could be interpreted as an absent heart. But still, rather than Riku's heart leaving his body producing a Heartless, it's more accurate to say that Ansem made his own heart in charge of Riku's body, forcing Riku's heart to take a back seat. In that sense, we could interpret that new outfit as having a symbol of a free heart, not a heart chained up by darkness like the emblem Heartless symbol.
So let's summarize every character we've addressed. Sora removed his heart, which led him to create a pureblood Heartless and fall into darkness.
Kairi's heart was removed from her body, but she didn't create a Heartless because of the purity and light in her heart.
Ansem didn't create a Heartless, but rather remained a heart for a period of time, because he embraced the darkness and had power over it.
And lastly, Riku didn't lose his heart at all. It was just temporarily overpowered by Ansem. Hi everyone! Welcome back to the discussion of our third episode on losing one's heart. I'm Mel, and I'm here with Hannah.
Yay! We're back!
We're back!
We're here! Third episode, let's go!
Third time's the charm.
Hell yeah. Well, not the charm for the people we're about to talk about.
So, last episode, we talked about Heartless and the differences between Emblem and Pureblood, and we got some comments and some questions that hopefully were cleared up in this episode, where we kind of dive more into like what happened with Sora, for example. So hopefully that clears some stuff up, because we had to, in order to give exceptions to rules, you have to define the rules first. So that's why we kind of discussed Heartless and like what happened to Sora in this order. So
yeah,
thank you everyone for your patience.
Yeah, you guys have been very good about asking the questions that we do end up answering in the next script. We've gotten a few, I think, that were like direct questions that we directly answered in the script that we had already written out. So like we're all on the same wavelength, we're all having the same vibes, we're all connecting, and we're all sharing this space together.
And if that's not the motto of what Kingdom Hearts is, I don't know what is.
My friends are my power.
My friends are my power.
Of course. So Professor Mel, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. What happens to the heart when it goes away? Is it lost? Is it lost forever? Where does it go?
So the weird thing about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that it seems to have a different idea of what happens to hearts than the rest of the series. Because with Ansem has his, little tirade where he's like, in the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came, And I believe... So first of all, when Riku wakes up in that kind of dark area and what's implied to be Mickey starts talking to him through narration, not necessarily voice recorded, but just through text. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
I believe you with my whole entire heart.
So I believe Mickey, so after Ansem possesses Riku and Riku wakes up on the other side of the door, the white door. Yeah. When Riku wakes up, I think it's a final mix scene, which means it wasn't in the original game. And that's why there's no voiceover. It's just text. But I believe it's Mickey talking to Riku through, the connection of the heart or whatever. And Mickey refers to the place where Riku woke up as the place where hearts gather. And Riku seemed to have woken up in the realm of darkness. So Kingdom Hearts 1 is weird in that it seems to imply that hearts really do return to the darkness or the realm of darkness we don't even know, to die or to go on to the next life. We don't know. But I just feel like that is kind of forgotten in the future. Yeah. So we can accept it as it is now. And then as the series unfolds, I think new Kingdom Hearts fans will kind of understand where we're coming from when we say that it just unfolds differently. I don't know if they just forgot that they established that or if they deliberately decided to retcon it or what. Yeah. But basically Kingdom Hearts 1 is hearts do return to the darkness or to the realm of darkness.
Well, that's really happy and a good thing, and I'm glad that happens.
It's every emo's kid's dream, okay?
Yeah, every kid that's playing Kingdom Hearts when they're 7 years old, that's the type of shit they want to happen. Yes. Return to the realm of darkness from whence we came. That sounds like a My Chemical Romance lyric or something.
Emo kids were really living during the 2000s. They were really thriving.
Yeah, honestly. God, especially with some of the aesthetics that were in this game. Absolutely. Okay, Professor Mel, I have a second question.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about what happened to Kairi at Destiny Islands, because I guess I was just a bit not confused, but it's why she do that? Why was she a person? Why was she a projection and then disappeared? And I don't know. I guess I just I don't know. I want to talk about that. I don't know how to express my feelings for what I'm feeling right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Because I think, so first of all, Euphony, who emailed us, asked a very similar question. And we might get back to Euphony and address more of what they asked. But you're not the only one who is confused about this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really good to talk about Kairi first, because I think this could help us understand more of what happened between Riku and Ansem later. So for now, with Kairi, so Euphony is really interesting because in their email, they asked why was her body transparent on Destiny Islands? But I rewatched that cutscene and she's not transparent. And I don't know if they're talking about something else.
Yeah, she's not transparent, but she disappears. She fades away.
So this is what I think happens. And I think we'll be able to get into a lot deeper into the subject when the time comes. Unfortunately, it might be our very last Kingdom Hearts 1 topic that we address ever before moving on to Chain of Memories. Mm-hmm. But in Ansem's very last 13th report, he talks about when the heart leaves a body, when a heart leaves a body, what happens to the body? Where does it go? Does it disappear? Does it land somewhere else or appear somewhere else. And I think that this is kind of connected to that. I think when Kairi is standing in front of Destiny Island's door and she's like, Sora, and she seems like really fucking tired.
Yeah.
I do think that that is her real body rather than like what I thought you were implying where it was like just her heart appearing as a body or something. I think that is her real body.
Okay.
And that it somehow disappeared after Kairi's heart left it. And, you know, like we'll get to in a bit, I do think that this kind of can help us understand what happened to Ansem and what happened to Riku.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle back. Well, actually, the 12th report, what is the 12th report?
It's the one where it's weird. It doesn't have the first person
it's the one about Ansem.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what? No, we're circling back right now.
We're not circling. We're going on a straight line. We're doing this. A to B to C.
Great. We did a 3-point turn, bitch. Okay. So we just talked about how Riku woke up in the realm of darkness after Ansem was done with his body. Like, why? There seems to be, for some reason, that when a body is kind of almost like not where the heart is kicked out of the body, but more like the body is kicked out from the heart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, like ejected or like tossed away.
Right.
It really does seem that the body will disappear from that area and reappear somewhere else. And I don't know why that is, or we don't know why that is at the moment at the very least. But that seems to just be the case. Because Ansem says that his body is gone, and Kairi's body disappeared, reappeared, we don't really know where, but it was in a place that Maleficent and the other Disney villains and the Heartless was able to retrieve because they were able to give it back to Riku.
Yeah, so, I didn't even think of, her body does where the fuck did it go? Where did it go?
That's the question. And so, and it might be that it arrived or landed where Riku was, because Riku woke up in that dark place. Yeah. And so, but it's still just very unclear as of this game. It's still very vague. But returning back to Ansem's report 12, I think, even to this day, I still think there's something going on with this report specifically. It's something smelly, the kind of smell that kind of smells smelly. I don't trust it.
It's so odd.
It might be that, and you know what? Okay, this is what I think is really interesting about this report, which we will digress from the overall topic of the episode, but I promise I won't dive too deep into it.
Yeah.
So, in Ansem's report 12, Ansem writes, "Beyond this world is a place in which darkness reigns. Details will be archived in a separate report." And we don't really know what that report is. The only kind of, because you would think it would be the next report, report 13. But report 13 does not really talk about that. And so I think following that kind of trail of, I was going to say trail of breadcrumbs, but then I realized that my brain jumps to make connections before I can really explain why they're connected in my brain. So instead of following a trail of breadcrumbs, maybe it's like just teleporting somewhere else. But anyway, my brain went to the passage that you find at the Hollow Bastion lab at the end of the world. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think that might be the separate report that Ansem's report 12 talks about and references.
Oh, okay.
And so I do remember what I was going to talk about. And it was just how weird this report is written, because the third line says, "A close eye must be kept on the situation." Honestly, even to this point of where we are in the series, there is a part of me, a fucked up part of me, that feels like somebody else entirely wrote this report. Some other fucko. Because just the idea a close eye must be kept on this situation. Like, that to me just says, like, overseer. But
yeah.
The problem is that ever referenced again? No. Does it ever come to anything? No. Is it like this in the original Japanese? Probably not.
Yeah.
If it is, that would be really interesting. But, like, I doubt it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it just makes me think of, like, a fucked up scientist doing experiments on himself and just being, like, still trying to write his captain's log down and, like, I'm gonna monitor myself as I inject myself with the weird serum, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it could go either way. That's just, like, with you telling me that this is still written by Ansem, that's just the thought that comes to my mind. But who fucking knows? Because it is so weird that it's written like this. Like, who would it be? Like, who? I don't know.
And, you know, maybe the thought process that I kind of got lost on, maybe my point was that in this separate report that might be referring to the World Terminus Lab that you find when you go to the end of the world. Maybe that passage I really do think is written by Ansem because he's obsessed with that door. He is obsessed with the Keyblade. He's obsessed with Heartless. It really seems like something Ansem would go on a tirade about. Yeah. And so if that is really the separate report that is referenced in Report 12, then that kind of implies that he did write Report 12 after all, even though it's really weird. So they really might have written it weirdly to prevent us from picturing him in a fucking brown robe trying to hold a pen, but he doesn't have any grips, you know? Like,
yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know.
And speaking of Ansem and him, it's just, so, okay. I want to kind of cross over into Riku and Ansem possessing Riku because... Is it all right if I read an email?
Yeah.
So, Ventus, our lovely Ventus, Betwixtyiff, I hope I am pronouncing your username right. I have read it for years, but I'm realizing I've never said it aloud before, so I apologize if I read it wrong.
That sounds right to me.
So, they write, what I wanted to get to is this, is established in Kingdom Hearts 1 that Riku lost his heart to Ansem when he opened his heart to the darkness after Sora beat him for the first time at Hollow Bastion. We can see at Hollow Bastion later on and at the end of the world that Ansem, when projected his image around Riku's body. Wait, did I read that right? That Ansem then projected his image around Riku's body. Sorry, I misread. But Riku himself seems to have had a physical form while lost in the realm of darkness before we see him on the other side of Kingdom Hearts. My question is, was it ever explicitly gone into exactly how that was possible? Or was that something a future title explained? So I do think that a future title doesn't explain it, but I think it gives us another similar example that helps us understand. I'm going to be honest here. Ansem and Riku's situation does kind of confuse me a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 1. And I think it's because... Well, I can't tell if it's because, one, Kingdom Hearts 1 might be just really flexible in terms of its lore and, like, doesn't really care about solidifying things. Or if it does have solidified lore, it's just different than how it eventually evolves into. And maybe I just don't understand what Kingdom Hearts was trying to originally tell us about Riku and Ansem's situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, because here's what's weird. Here's what's weird about Riku and Ansem. So, Riku and Sora fight. Riku loses, and then he is crying in the Hollow Bastion castle, like, boo-hoo, why did I lose? And Ansem in the brown robe is like, your heart was weaker than his, but I can help you make it stronger. Just trust me, right? And then he possesses him. And so, at that point, Ansem is possessing Riku, but Riku still looks like Riku. And then, at one point, after Sora stabs himself with the Keyblade of Darkness, Ansem now looks like himself. Right? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But what's weird is that when Sora eventually goes back to Destiny Islands in the Realm of Darkness through the end of the world or whatever, do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Ansem starts off again looking like Riku. And then he's like, this boy sought to escape from his prison. And then he turns into Ansem again. So we have this weird situation where it's implied that Ansem is using Riku's body, but can somehow change that body's appearance. Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah, that's wild.
It's fucking weird. And it's like, not only that, but then like moments later, Riku wakes up in that realm of darkness to go close the door with Sora. And so it's like, you have like this weird situation of like, okay, did Ansem possess Riku? Did Ansem use Riku's body to restore Ansem's own body so that he's not just a heart anymore? Or why does he, if that's the case, why is he able to look like Riku again at the end of the world? Like, I'm just gonna be fucking real. Like, that still confuses me to this fucking day.
Yeah, I'm barely wrapping my head around it right now as we speak, honestly.
It's
a
crazy.
lot.
Like, and like part of me wonders, like, I don't know what, I don't think we'll ever go back to explain this.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately.
I would love if, okay, so I was about to say, I would love if Kingdom Hearts' modern lore, and the lore as we know it now, was able to come back to Kingdom Hearts 1 to explain in detail what was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it can. I really, from what I can think of at the top of my head, the way hearts and bodies interact, and the way even like people's appearances work, I just don't feel like Kingdom Hearts 1 fits that. Almost to the point where I feel like if Kingdom Hearts 1, for whatever reason, were to come out today after all the other establishing lore has been established, I'd be mad, because I'd be like, this doesn't fit anything that we've learned about. Like, this contradicts everything that we know. Like, what's going on here? I'm mad. And so, like I said, I do think that there is something in the future that can kind of help us understand more what's going on. And Ansem's ability to kind of take over an appearance. But unfortunately, Kingdom Hearts 1 alone, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just too fucking weird. And it's like, I get annoyed. Because, like, here's the thing. So, we get comments that are like, oh, this podcast will be easy now, but it'll be more difficult further down the line. But Hannah, I was just telling you that I feel like it's harder with Kingdom Hearts 1 because it's so flexible in its interpretation. And that later down the line, it'll be way easier.
Yeah. Later, it'll just be putting the puzzle pieces together without much speculation, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, Ventus, I'm sorry that I can't fucking answer. I wish I could. God damn it.
We do our best. We do our best. If we don't have at least one question that stumps us every week, what are we even fucking doing here, honestly?
What are we even fucking doing? And I guess the last thing I do want to address is with Riku himself, like, ignoring Ansem. You know, I wanted to clear up that Riku didn't lose his heart or create a Heartless because our podcast only is considering Kingdom Hearts 1 itself and not trying to dive into the future. I kind of have to, like, remember what it was like to be a fan in the 2000s and the different theories that I would read online. And I do feel like Riku losing his heart was a theory that kind of went around for a while. And honestly, like, maybe didn't phase out until, like, 2010, I feel like. And so, you know, if you're listening to this, if you're a new Kingdom Hearts fan and you were thinking, oh my god, like, is Riku a Heartless? Did he create a Heartless? Is that, like, gonna be a thing that comes into the future? Like, I'd rather disappoint you now than you be disappointed later. Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Mythbusters.
Riku really was just, like, tossed to the... Not tossed to the side, but, like, Ansem's heart pushed Riku's to the side and was like, let me control this twink body. Like,
yeah.
But I wouldn't say he got lost to the darkness.
Twink losing one's heart. Twink death. So I just need everyone to know that when I was reading through the script, I put under one of the discussion points, I love Riku. I just like, we watched one of our friends on stream play through this game somewhat recently in the past like year or so, and he did not like Riku, like, at all in the first few games. And I was like, no, you can't. You have to love him because I love him. I feel so bad for him. He does just get kind of tossed around. He gets taken advantage of. Like, I love Riku. I'm sorry. I'm a Riku stan through and through. Like, I feel bad for him. I love him. I just want everyone to know that. I have literally separate Kingdom Hearts accounts on my Twitter and Tumblr, and I have Riku as my profile picture because I love him. So I need everyone to know that. That's what I was thinking about when I was reading through the script because, poor boy, I love him.
I know. I love Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 because I kind of like that he's a little bit more egotistical and a little bit more jealous. And I don't know. I just think that those, I guess, negative traits make him such an interesting character to me.
No, yeah, he literally, like, truly is like the bigger, older brother to Sora, which is just so interesting and fun that they have that dynamic.
Okay, well, hopefully we covered everything that you kind of wondered about. And if there are things that you are wondering about in the future, don't worry, we might get there. We got like, what, 6 more topics to cover? 6 or 7, something like that? Yeah. And that's if I don't end up splitting more into 2 like I did recently. There's a couple topics in the future where I was like, girl, I need to split this up. This is too much.
We just got too much to talk about. I'm excited for the next episode, which, should we say what the next episode's going to be?
Yes. Yeah.
So our next episode is on... It's the Princesses of Heart, right? That is the next episode. That's the next one we're doing.
Yes, the Princesses of Heart.
We're doing the Princesses of Heart for the next episode, and I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm excited to talk about it, too, because I was recently listening to other kind of Kingdom Hearts lore podcasts, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I just feel like I cannot wait to dive real deep into these bitches. Because doing recent research for Kingdom Hearts 1 for this podcast has kind of reignited my love and appreciation for it, because the Princesses of Heart are so complex and there's so much to them that I think I like knew about on like a surface. Like I could say, yeah, duh, like of course that's true, but it hasn't really digested in, like I haven't really let it sink in until recently. And I just think that they are so interesting. So we'll be talking about the Princesses of Heart, and then more specifically, if you have a question about them, but you don't really know if that's kind of relevant to what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why Maleficent gathered the Princesses of Heart, that goth black Keyblade, and then a little bit of Kairi as well.
Mm-hmm. This next episode had me diving into like regular Disney lore, like Disney Universe lore, which I was very unexpected, but like I'm amped up to talk about it because it's honestly kind of wild what's going on there. So yeah.
I know you mentioned something and I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, it's wild.
Sure enough.
It's wild. So we're teasing the next episode.
Yes.
Fucking hard. So be sure to tune in for that.
If you have questions about that topic, about the Princesses of Heart, you can email your questions at sheddingstarlight ansem@gmail.com.
Yes,
I should. I hesitated, but
yeah, we should say that every episode because someone pointed out in I think either our email or one of the comments that I didn't say it in the last episode and I didn't put it in the description. So that's on me. That's my bad. I'm gonna put it in the description every time. So we can get it and we should say it at the end of every episode. So sorry about that. We're gonna keep doing it from now on.
That's sheddingstarlight@gmail.com. Just make it short.
It's easy. It's just the title of the podcast at gmail.com. You got it. You can do it.
We are so thankful for all the comments that we have been getting. We're so sorry that we're not able to answer all of them. We want to, but we can't be here forever. Yeah. You know,
unfortunately.
We have to leave this realm of darkness eventually.
Yeah.
So thank you for all the support. We want to grow this channel for new fans. So we're really happy about this format of diving deep, yet no spoilers of the future games. I haven't seen other people kind of try to attempt that. So if you like that, if you're a new Kingdom Hearts fan and you like that and appreciate that, here are some ways you can give us your support. Okay, the first thing you can do is if you listen to us on audio, that's either Apple or Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars.
5 stars.
That will help us reach other new Kingdom Hearts fans.
Hell yeah.
And then if you listen to us on YouTube, you can, of course, like and subscribe, of course.
And slam that motherfucking bell. Slam the notification bell. Anyway, go ahead.
Slam it. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Also, this is just my experience as a podcast professional coming through right now. The best way that podcasts grow is actually through word of mouth. That's the most popular method of growth. So if you have friends that like Kingdom Hearts or you're trying to get your friends into the Kingdom Hearts series, which we all know you are. We all know you have friends that haven't played the games and you want them to and you want to get them hooked. Tell them you have an audio guide now that takes you through all the most complex parts of the series so they can learn as they go. So just tell a friend, and we will love you forever if you do that.
Forever. Okay. Well, thank you for listening, everybody.
And we'll see you in the Starlight.